Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be showing you guys my 6th round of the SRK Junior Karting Championship, which is being held at Daytona Milton Keynes. Right now the lights have just went out for my first heat, so let's see how we can do. My teammate Max Passmore has already went up my inside on the first corner of the lap, so that isn't a great sign. Going into turn 3, I decide not to back out and try to go on a move on Max again, but that means I absolutely send the curb on the right here, which makes me lose a ton of speed, so Oscar Varvedo gets the run on me going into the hairpin, and Rocco also is able to try and overtake me. Luckily, however, we are able to keep the inside line going into turn 5 and not get overtaken again. Coming into the long corner that is turn 6, I keep the inside line again with Rocco on my outside, and I'm just hoping to get ahead of him by the exit of this corner. This is because I'm confident that I have the pace in this heat to do well, and possibly even fight with Navarro for the lead if I can catch up to him. Right now there's quite a big gap between me and P3, let's see how fast I can close it. As you can see, we have already caught up with Oscar Varvedo by turn 4 of lap 2, and are now trying to overtake him to then go on ahead and see if I can overtake Max Passmore. At turn 4 here, I go for a switchback move, which actually works. I get a better exit, and Oscar is forced to just fall back behind me and try and work with me to catch up to Max, who is driven on ahead. As you can see, we have caught up to Max significantly through the past 2 corners, and are now on the straight right behind him, but he's pulling away just slightly. Let's see how close we are when we get to the hairpin. Because Max turns in a bit later than us going into the long left-hander that is turn 9, I catch up a lot going into the hairpin, but I'm not sending the move up the inside there, but rather I'm trying to cut back on the exit and just get a better exit than him, which works, and just like Oscar, he's forced to fall behind and just follow me through the next corner. I am going to skip ahead here and speed this part up, as after I overtook Max and Oscar, there isn't really anything happening for the rest of the race, and it's just me lapping on my own behind Navarro. And even though I feel like I'm catching ever so slightly, it's not enough to gain any significant amounts of time to be able to fight with him for the lead. So I finished this heat in P2. Now it's time for Heat 2. We are starting in P11, so there's a lot of overtaking to be done if we want to get a good finish in this race. We get a good start, but for some reason I decided not to go to the left of the track after turn 1 and keep the inside for turn 2, but rather go to the outside of the track and try to keep the inside for turn 3, which means I'm on the outside for turn 4. In turn, that makes it so I get overtaken again by Max Passmore and Oscar Arvedo, so let's see how it goes. Here, I was thinking about bumping Gabriel Wyatt forwards to try to overtake Oscar Arvedo, but I thought against it since I didn't think it was a good idea because I wanted to go around outside, but I didn't have enough speed to go around the outside, so I thought better of that as well. But now I just have to slot behind him and wait until another opportunity arises to overtake him. Coming out of turn 3, I see that Caden has lost a ton of speed, so I hit him in the back twice just to make him realize he can still go for the overtake on Gabriel Wyatt, which allows me to follow him through and gain 1 position. On the exit of turn 5, Caden also went really wide, so I'm able to get a better exit and just go right past him going into turn 6. Now what's left to do is to catch up to Oscar and the other drivers ahead. Luckily, they were all fighting in one big group, which made catching up so much easier. As we cross the finish line, I back off a little bit to give the other driver in the grey suit some more space and just slot on behind him, which then pays off coming to turn 2 as I'm able to go around the outside and overtake him going out of turn 3. Unexpectedly though, he keeps the inside for the next corner, but I again go around the outside and just get a better exit, meaning I'm able to overtake him going into turn 5. Now again we have to catch up to the 3 up ahead. Up ahead, at the hairpin that is turn 10, Harrison Gravner tries to send a move on Max Passmore, who had recently overtaken him, which unfortunately doesn't go well for him, and he puts himself in the barrier wall while putting Max on the outside, allowing me and Oscar to just get past them quite easily, giving us 2 free positions. Coming out of turn 5, I get a much better exit than Oscar on my left, which means I just get the inside line for turn 6, which then makes Oscar have to slot in behind me and follow me through the corner. Unfortunately, everyone else in the top 4 is way too far ahead for me to catch up to, and because of this, I'm just going to skip ahead and get into the next heat, as I finish in P5 in this race. Okay, now it's time for Heat 3, where I'll be starting in 12th place. This means that just like in Heat 2, if I want to get a good result, I need to overtake quite a few people. As the lights go out, we get quite a good start and then just slot in behind Luke Cridland for the next few corners, then try to go around him going into turn 2, but we have to slot back in coming out of turn 3 as just didn't get a good run. Going into turn 4, we take a defensive line so that no one from behind can go up our inside. Since it's start race, everyone's really close together. Then we get a good exit coming out of the hairpin and go up the inside of Luke Cridland going into turn 5. On the left of the screen you may also see another driver, which I think is Gabriel Wyatt, being pushed out wide into the barriers, so that gives us another free position here. As Oscar and the driver with the grey suit and helmet are fighting, the driver with the grey suit and helmet gets pushed a little bit wide, allowing me to cut back to the apex before him and overtake him coming onto the straight. Now that we've overtaken these drivers and got a few positions from that, we just need to catch up to Oscar, Max Passmore and Sam Skellett. Going out of the hairpin here, Luke Cridland absolutely smashes us out of the way, probably by accident because he had nowhere else to go, just like me because they were all clumped together there. So we nearly lose position to him there, but managed to keep the inside for the last turn and keep our position. Now that we've caught up to Oscar Valverde quite a bit, I'm trying to see if there's any place I can try and overtake on. And coming to the last corner of the lap, I see an opening there and I send it in from the inside. Doesn't quite work as he gets a good run out, so I don't get the position there. But let's see where else we can overtake him. Coming out of turn 3, I see that Oscar's got a bad exit, so I think about setting it on the inside of the hairpin, but I think better of it, stick behind him until turn 5, where then I send it up the inside, but I get a bad exit, meaning he gets far ahead of me and I don't get the position. Coming to the bottom hairpin before the very long straight, I see that Anderson has been put into a barrier wall by, I think, Sam Skellett, which gives us another free position, which I'll take. As we come into turn 4, we get our first glimpse of my new friend, supposedly, appearing on the camera and just crawling around on top of it. Coming to turn 7, the hairpin, I think about sending a move on Oscar Varvedo, but I decide against it, which then meant that Navarro tried going around my outside, but I didn't see him when exiting the corner, meaning I nearly put him into a barrier wall by accident, which wouldn't have been great. Coming to turn 4, I feel like I'm just close enough and have just enough speed to actually send it and overtake him here, so that's exactly what I do. I go up the inside and I gain the position here. Our Navarro was going around my outside at turn 5 as well, but I cover it off well and I keep my position. Now that we're catching up to Max and Sam ahead, I'm again trying to think of ways and places that I can overtake them and gain another position. We overtake Rowan here, but as we overtook him earlier in the race on lap 1, I think, because he had an accident, it doesn't count as position gain since he was already a lap behind. So unfortunately we don't get a position here. As Sam Skellett has overtaken Max and driven on, there isn't really any chances of overtaking him, but let's see how close we can get up to Max. Maybe we can overtake him. Coming to turn 10, Max goes defensive into the hairpin, and I'm not able to get him on the way out, meaning that in the last corner there's also nothing I can do, and in the end I finish behind him. However, Navarro gets an amazing exit out of the last corner, meaning he's catching up fast, and across the finish line I am just barely a little bit ahead, keeping my position against Navarro. Okay then, it's now time for the finals, and I managed to qualify in the A final. Not only that, but at the front of the A final, which I'm very pleased about as it's my first time qualifying like this. As Let's Go Out, I get an okay start, slot in behind Luke Cridlin, but then try to go around his outside going into turn 2, although he gets a better exit, so I have to slot in behind him coming out of turn 3. But coming into turn 4, I get absolutely smashed from behind, thus smashing Anthony out the way and gaining a position up into P5 here. these few laps, Anthony is able to easily overtake me here at turn 4 because he has an absolute rocket ship of a kart, and because I know that, because I had it earlier in the day and the Enduro, we decided to work together and just try to catch up to the pack ahead. Now that we have somewhat caught up to the main pack, we are hoping to get close enough to maybe be able to overtake a few people and possibly get a podium position. At this hairpin here, Anthony goes down the inside of Luke Cridland. I try to follow him through, but Luke keeps it pinned around my outside, so I'm not able to actually get the position right here. I try to keep the outside line going into turn 5 to go around Luke and then get a good exit, which actually works. I get a much better exit than Luke, so I get ahead of him by turn 6. And going into turn 7, I'm trying to defend from him to keep the position. However, unfortunately, I don't defend it well, and I lose the position again. Coming through this hairpin, I catch up a lot on the exit, so I think about going for the inside onto the last corner, but because I give him a little bump, I'm not able to do so. At turn 4 here, I think about going up the inside, but he covers it off well, so I go a bit to the right to try and get a good exit out of turn 4. Unfortunately, however, I don't get a good exit, and that's why Logan smashes me in the back to get me back up to speed. Coming out of turn 5, I get a significantly better exit than Luke Cridland on our left here again, which means I try to go up the inside at turn 6 here. Unfortunately, however, Luke sticks around the outside of turn 6, so I have to give him space going to turn 7. I go around the outside of him, and now it's just a drag race down into the hairpin before the very long straight. Fortunately this time, I win the drag race and am ahead of him by the entry of the hairpin. On the contrary to what just happened, I get a really bad exit coming out of turn 8 and onto the long straight, meaning I'm a sitting duck for Luke to get past. Even with Logan bumping me in the back on the straight, me and Luke are side by side, and even going up to the hairpin, he gets just that little bit more speed and that little bit ahead of me, meaning I am not able to keep the position. Going into turn 6, I send a stupid dive bomb on Luke at the center of the corner, which doesn't go well, and I nearly take Luke out. I apologize for that if you're watching this. At turn 7, however, I'm stranded on the outside, so Logan is also able to get past me going onto the straight. With Luke and Logan fighting each other up ahead, I'm just able to keep up with them barely and actually even catch up a little bit, so I'm not completely out of the fray. However, with this being the last lap, I need to make a move on either one of them if I want to keep the position I started at in this race. Logan goes for a switchback on Luke here and is trying to get ahead of him before the hairpin before the long straight. I'm trying to bump him to give him a bit more speed, but unfortunately I myself have to fall back before the hairpin. Going to the hairpin here, Logan locks up when braking for the corner, so he gets a really bad exit. Because of this, I'm trying to bump him up the hill so we can both still get the position on Luke. I'm able to get Logan far ahead of Luke here, so that's a free position for him, but now I just need to keep the inside for the hairpin so I myself can get back into 6th place. On the hairpin, Luke tries to switch back on me and does get a better exit, but I keep the inside line for the last corner of the lap and the race, so I'm able to get back up into 6th position and keep the position I started at in the A final. Overall, I had a ton of fun in this day. I absolutely loved this track, and I really enjoyed driving with my team and all my other friends there. Great day, great event, and I hope all of you watching this also had a good day. Overall, this was definitely by far my best finish in SRK ever, and I'm very pleased with it. And I thank you all for watching this video.